Beyond the Hype, a fashion lifestyle tech podcast. Presented by Stephanie Williams and Greg Lewis.
Welcome back, everybody. Today we're diving deep into something I think a lot of our listeners in the fashion and lifestyle industries are going to find super fascinating. In-game fashion.
It's more than just a trend. It's changing how we think about style and self-expression and identity.
It really is, and I think that's why it's so relevant to what we talk about on this show.
It's a whole new world of possibilities for brands to connect with audiences in a completely new way.
Before we get too far ahead of ourselves, I think it would be helpful to just define what we're talking about here. When we say in-game fashion, what exactly does that mean?
So essentially, in-game fashion is all about the clothing, accessories, the hairstyles that your avatar can wear in a game or virtual space.
Okay, so just like in real life, people are expressing themselves through what they wear.
Exactly. It's become a huge phenomenon. And it's not just about looking cool, it's about status and identity and even community building in these digital spaces.
I can already see the wheels turning in the minds of our listeners thinking, okay, how can I use this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And there are a few key ways that players can get these virtual fashion items.
Okay, let's hear it.
Well, the simplest is purchasing them,
Makes sense.
whether that's with in-game currency or actual dollars.
Yeah.
But it gets more interesting when you consider the other methods.
Okay, what are those?
There's the element of winning items, which taps into that psychology of rarity and desirability.
Ooh, I like that.
Think about loot boxes or achievements that reward players with these really exclusive designs. It creates hype and urgency, much like limited edition drops in the real world.
Oh, I see. So it's that same kind of scarcity principle where if you know you can't get it, you want it even more.
Exactly. And then there's the concept of unlocking items through gameplay. So the idea is the more you play, the more time and effort you invest, the more you're rewarded with these unique, coveted items.
You're not just buying the item, you're buying into the whole experience.
Absolutely. And that's a crucial aspect for anyone in the fashion industry to understand. It's about creating engagement and fostering a sense of community.
I think we're just scratching the surface here. There's so much more to uncover.
There is.
Why is this having such a huge impact? Like, what's driving this whole craze?
It boils down to very human desires. In the real world, fashion choices are a form of self-expression, right? It's a way to signal our personality and values.
Definitely.
And this translates seamlessly to the digital world. Your avatar's outfit becomes an extension of you, a statement of your digital identity.
In a space where you can literally be anyone, that becomes even more important, right? It's your chance to craft that persona.
Absolutely. And this is where it gets really fascinating for those in the fashion industry, because it provides this entirely new canvas for creativity and innovation.
And I think that's what our listeners really want to hear about, the business implications of all this.
Oh, there are many.
So let's dive into that. What are some of the key takeaways that our listeners should be considering?
One of the most significant is the potential for brand collaborations.
I was going to say, we've seen some really interesting partnerships popping up.
We've seen luxury brands like Balenciaga partnering with games like Fortnite.
Yeah, blurring the lines between high fashion and gaming culture.
Exactly. It's a chance for brands to tap into a massive audience, particularly Gen Z and millennials, who are already so comfortable spending money in digital spaces.
Makes sense. They're already there. They're already doing it.
They are. And then there's the whole world of NFTs, which is revolutionizing how we think about digital ownership and scarcity. Imagine creating limited edition digital collections, each piece authenticated with an NFT that customers can buy and collect and even resell.
I feel like we need to break that down a little bit because not everyone might be familiar with NFTs.
Right. So NFTs, or non-fungible tokens, are like digital certificates of authenticity. They use blockchain technology to prove ownership of a specific digital item, guaranteeing its uniqueness and scarcity.
So it's like the digital equivalent of a limited edition sneaker or a signed piece of art.
Exactly. And that's where the value lies. Because they create scarcity, they also create desirability and therefore potential resale value.
And we've seen this play out in real life, right?
We have the Gucci Garden experience on Roblox is a great example. Some of those digital Gucci items were resold for thousands of dollars.
Sometimes even more than their real-world counterparts.
Yeah, which is crazy to think about.
It's incredible. So this is creating this whole new market for digital fashion, and it's only going to grow.
And especially as the Metaverse expands.
Okay, I'm already starting to see the wheels turning in the minds of our listeners. I could practically hear them brainstorming how to integrate this into their businesses.
That's what we want. This isn't just a fad. This is a fundamental shift in how we think about fashion identity and ownership in the digital age.
So what are some concrete ways brands can start getting involved? What business models should they be exploring?
Well, one model that's emerging is subscription services.
Oh, like what we see with streaming platforms.
Exactly. Some games are offering premium subscriptions that include access to exclusive clothing collections.
So it's a way to create that recurring revenue stream.
And build a loyal community around your brand.
I love that.
And then there's the potential of AI-driven design. Imagine a world where AI can create personalized digital garments based on an individual's style preferences, body type, even their activity within a particular virtual world.
So it's not just about buying a pre-made outfit. It's about co-creating with AI to get these truly unique pieces.
Exactly. We're talking about personalized fashion experiences tailored to individual tastes and needs, taking self-expression to a whole new level.
Okay, now I'm getting really excited about this.
Me too.
It feels like the possibilities are truly limitless.
We really are, and we're just scratching the surface.
Well, I can't wait to dive deeper into some of these concepts and explore what the future holds for in-game fashion.
Let's do it. One of the most exciting things on the horizon is cross-platform integration.
I was just thinking about that. Imagine earning a digital garment that you could wear across different games.
Exactly. You buy a virtual jacket from your favorite designer, and you can wear it in Fortnite Roblox, even in virtual meetings.
So it's like having a universal digital wardrobe.
Precisely. And it's not just a futuristic vision. We're already seeing the early stages of this with platforms designed for creating and exchanging interoperable digital assets.
So this is something our listeners really need to be thinking about now.
Absolutely. If you're going to enter the digital fashion space, interoperability is key.
Future-proofing your creations.
Exactly. Making sure they have value across different platforms.
And as we move towards this more interconnected future, I think the role of AI in fashion is going to become even more important.
AI is huge in this space. We've talked about personalized digital garments, but imagine algorithms that can incorporate your real-time mood.
Whoa, so my outfit could change based on how I'm feeling.
Or the environment you're in. It's about dynamic and expressive digital fashion.
And all of this is happening as the metaverse continues to evolve.
Providing new spaces for us to experiment with our digital identities.
It's like the metaverse is becoming this giant interactive fashion show.
It's a fascinating evolution, but as with any new technology, we need to consider the ethical implications.
That's a great point. What are some of the challenges we need to be aware of as in-game fashion becomes more mainstream?
One major concern is accessibility. We need to make sure digital fashion isn't just for the privileged few. We need to create a space where everyone can participate.
So democratizing digital fashion.
Exactly. And we also need to be mindful of the environmental impact. The fashion industry already has a huge footprint. We need to make sure digital fashion doesn't make that worse.
How can we approach digital fashion more sustainably?
Well, we can explore ways to minimize the energy consumption associated with creating and distributing digital fashion.
Okay, so thinking about the whole life cycle.
And promoting responsible consumption habits, even in the digital world. Maybe even encouraging a circular economy for digital fashion where items can be reused or repurposed.
A circular economy for digital fashion. I love that idea.
It challenges us to rethink the way we approach these virtual items.
For sure. And we also need to be careful about digital fashion reinforcing existing social inequalities.
Right. If it becomes just another status symbol, it could create a digital divide.
Between those who can afford to keep up with the trends and those who can't.
Exactly. We need to be thoughtful about how we design and distribute digital fashion, making sure it benefits everyone.
Creating an equitable and sustainable digital fashion ecosystem.
Yes. Consumers, brands, designers, technologists, we all have a role to play in shaping this.
It's a collective effort. And the decisions we make now will have a huge impact down the road.
We're not just talking about clothes and accessories here. We're talking about identity, self-expression, how technology shapes our sense of self.
It's about how we present ourselves to the world, how we connect with others.
And fashion, whether physical or digital, has always been a powerful tool for that.
For sure.
Yeah.
And as the lines between the physical and digital continue to blur, we're going to see even more creative ways to use fashion to express ourselves.
It's an exciting time to be exploring this intersection of fashion and technology.
Absolutely. And for our listeners, this is a call to action. Don't just sit back and watch this happen. Get involved, experiment, be a part of shaping this new frontier.
Embrace the possibilities. Think outside the box. Be bold in your vision for the future.
The metaverse is waiting.
And it's evolving beyond just gaming.
Yeah, it's becoming this whole melting pot of experiences like business, socializing, even healthcare.
As these worlds become more intertwined with our lives, our digital identities are going to become even more important.
And how we express them through fashion.
Exactly. It's like we'll have a digital wardrobe for every occasion.
Just like in real life, we have different outfits for different situations.
Right. You might have a professional look for those virtual meetings.
And then something more casual for hanging out with friends in the metaverse.
Exactly. And then something totally wild for a virtual concert.
It's about having that freedom to experiment.
And express yourself in ways you might not be able to in the physical world.
And that's what's so cool about in-game fashion.
It goes beyond just the clothes.
It's about the story you're telling, the connections you're making.
Exactly. So as we wrap up our deep dive into in-game fashion, I want to leave our listeners with a few key takeaways.
Okay, I'm listening.
First, this is just the beginning. This world is constantly evolving.
It's moving so fast.
So stay curious, keep exploring, and don't be afraid to experiment.
Love that. Embrace the unknown.
Second, always think about the bigger picture. In-game fashion isn't just a trend, it's a cultural shift.
Towards a more digital world.
Exactly. So think about how you can leverage these trends to create meaningful experiences for your customers.
Read them where they are.
And lastly, never underestimate the power of community. In-game fashion thrives on connection.
Finding your tribe.
Exactly. So focus on building relationships and creating spaces where people can express themselves.
These are such great insights.
Yeah.
For our listeners, especially those in the fashion and lifestyle industries.
This is a glimpse into the future of fashion.
In-game fashion is here to stay.
And it's changing the game.
So embrace the possibilities, stay ahead of the curve, and most importantly, have fun.
Until next time, stay stylish.
Beyond the Hype, a fashion lifestyle tech podcast.